One Christmas, Nancy and I gave small gifts to my family. They were the tiny sized baby food jars with a little note in each one letting people know that the following Christmas, another baby would be joining the celebration. We laughed and we cried a little bit. Kathryn Anne was born in late July after those gifts, and then she died 5 short weeks later. I don't remember that Christmas at all. Welcome to Finding Words in Hard Times, the podcast, where we provide stories and tools to help you be more comfortable as you help others in hard times. I'm John Swanson, a teacher, writer, and hospital chaplain. I said I don't remember Christmas that year at all. I do remember, however, that every Christmas since then, a tiny pair of knitted mittens is put on top of the tree, just below the ancient oft-crushed angel. And when one of us puts the mittens on the tree, there is this momentary pause, a sad smile. Holidays are all about expectations, seeing favorite people, eating favorite foods, playing certain games, having the same arguments about who makes the best pie. When expectations are disrupted, whether because of a snowstorm that makes people late or a death that changes the gathering forever, we're thrown off balance. Snowstorms become stories. Remember that one year? But permanent changes are really hard. Some people want to maintain balance by canceling everything. Other people want to ignore the loss and go on as normal, and there is not a right answer. But here are some suggestions you can try. I pray that one of them helps you to find new balance in the first or fifth holiday season after the death of a loved one. First, actually remember. Some families found it too hard to talk about our daughter, yet research suggests that most people would rather talk about the person who is gone rather than ignore them. And if the person missing was stillborn and had never been to the gatherings, their parents are still acutely aware of an absence and would be blessed by other people recognizing their loss. Second, add a routine of remembrance. The hanging of the mittens acknowledges Kathryn in a small and important way. And it's not for a whole crowd of people, but for Nancy and I, the tiny mittens matter. Third, consider passing old routines to new people. If grandma always made suet pudding and it's better than it sounds, let someone else try it with her recipe. If the oldest family member always said a blessing, have the next oldest and the youngest say it together. Fourth, be willing to laugh. Grieving people most often don't want to be the cause of other people being sad. So laugh at the way someone spills the gravy and let others join as they can. Fifth, have permission to excuse yourself and give others that permission. If we have a cold or worse, we give ourselves permission to say, I'm not feeling well, I can't come tonight. I don't want anyone else to get sick. We can also do that when our hearts aren't feeling well from grief. Sixth, be willing to ask how people are feeling. Be willing to answer honestly. Often we assume that others are grieving the same way we are or think we would, and often we're wrong. Now, this is not a steady barrage of, how are you doing? But rather a quiet, gentle asking, so how are you feeling? And then listening, and then answering honestly. Seventh, remember that this year isn't the same as last year or next year. It's this year. So honor and remember and acknowledge who is here and who isn't, knowing that we can't predict next year. We remember Kathryn, though her story unfolded more than 3 decades ago. Since then, we've had many changes in our families and in extended family gatherings, and we've laughed and cried often since then. And I'm expecting that we will this year too. Thanks for listening to Finding Words in Hard Times, the podcast, where we provide stories and tools to help you be more comfortable as you help others in hard times. Subscribe to the newsletter at thisishard.substack.com. Check the show notes for links and resources. And thanks for being a helper.